Let me see what y'all niggas been doing. Mm.
Next time I come downstairs, that'll be it.
God damn, what are you bringing with you?
Huh?
You bringing that too?
What?
That. All of that.
Some shoes.
All right.
These shoes, what?
Yeah. Mm. Damn. Let me hurry up and do this video so I can wake up this dude, man. My brother is tripping, man. Likes to party all night and shit. And then the next day, next morning, you know what I'm saying, he wakes up late, wants to decide which pair of shoes he wants to wear with this outfit, that outfit, and I'm like, man, nigga, come on, let's go, bro. You know, and then I wake up early and I'll leave his ass. And he's like, man, why you left? Why you left? Man, come back, you know what I'm saying? Man, wake me up when you wake up. And then I'll do that shit. And it's still taking like 3 hours for us to take and get on the move. So I'm gonna just go ahead and do this shit real quick because I've been getting a lot of notifications in regards to, I guess, traveling, black men traveling. I would assume it's overseas to court women. And I need to do another video about some of this fucking free ass yum I've been getting, man, from some of these dispensaries and shit. And like I've been getting shit on the low and yo. All right, so anyway, man, I can tell you like my personal experience, right? Now, when I first got on YouTube, this brings up a whole lot of shit. Man, when I first got on YouTube, there was a big discussion about black men going to Brazil. Um, and, you know, I've done my research on it. I've never really wanted to go to Brazil, to be quite honest with you. I've heard about the diaspora there. I've heard about the diseases. And this is something that I was just never wanting to, you know, engage in. So, you know, I looked at these guys as kind of odd. In fact, about a month ago, me and one guy, another YouTuber, right? We I kind of called him out on his shit because I'm like, nigga, you not fucking going out to Jamaica like that. You're not going to the fucking Dominican Republic like that. Come on, man, just keep it real, right? So, me, my personal experience with traveling, was business. I can never see myself traveling without understanding the culture. So with me working for a global financial institution, right? I used to lead like mortgage servicing, and with that, I used to get a lot of complaints from customers who would call in, and you know they would have to speak to someone in the Philippines. You know, so a lot of these Pinoy, a lot of these Pinoy people, right, would speak to them, and you know, I would always get these fucking supervisor calls, and you know, a lot of the customers would be like, "Oh man, I'm glad you know I'm speaking to an American." Like, and I used to get a lot of people on my team who would say, you know, they want to speak to an American person. They don't want to speak to anyone in the Philippines. I used to always get these inquiries from a lot of individuals from the Philippines, right? Um, Even before that, like I used to get direct, instant messages. Um, I used to get phone calls as well from a lot of Filipino people. And, you know, just the way my mind works, I would always look at these last names like, why the last name Talis, Garcia, you know, Gonzalez. Like, what the fuck is up with this? Like, when you cross your eyes, like, they look Mexican, and then you look again, like, straight up, they look Asian, right? And, you know, that caused me to, you know, kind of like do more research and understanding, you know, some of the politics that are there, you know. And I was intrigued by a lot of shit. You know, they've had 16 presidents, two of them were women. One of the individuals who, you know, became president, I was a big fan growing up, and it just kind of like clicked. I'm like, oh shit, I know who this is. Corey Aquino. Um, her husband was actually a senator, and he came to America for asylum because the government was going through a shift. And in 1983, when he got off the plane, he was murdered, and his wife, Corey Aquino, actually led the liberation, movement. It was just a completely different change, what I'm saying, when her democracy agenda hit the Philippines, right? So there's that, and then, there's Gloria, she's another one. Um, I know a lot. I learned the Tagalog. I learned a lot, right? So, my appreciation for them and just knowing how nice these people were, I was like, man, what the fuck? So, I've seen videos as well, about how women can become Americanized from these other countries and shit. And I can be honest with you, now at this point, with the age of social media, there's no difference between courting a woman overseas and courting a woman from America. Now, with me, right, the in-depth conversations that I've had with Filipino women were in the initial, like the majority of women that I've known in the Philippines were single moms, right? So there's a place called Palawan. It's spelled Palawan, right? I know a woman who she actually quit. Now she doesn't work for the bank anymore, but when she lived in Manila, she had a nanny to take care of her two kids. Her husband, I believe she was married, but her husband left her a while ago. She's 35 years old. Um, Very attractive woman, right? Um, Her and someone else, and I'll get to her in a minute, but for some reason, like they always complain about how they cannot find a man in the Philippines because a lot of those men do not want to court a single mother. So with this particular woman, I've actually helped her start our own business out there. She's a seamstress. She lives off the beach in Palawan. She would always tell me like, you need to come out here before the tourists start coming out here and start wrecking up shop. Um, and if you ever Google Palawan, you would see like, it's just awesome. Like I've never came at her like that. Like we've always been cool. We've always been like real good friends. And eventually she started to come on to me. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, wow, you just stay too damn far. Like and then not only that, and it's not because she's a single mom. It's like, not only that, like, you have a life out there, you know what I'm saying? You actually have a life. She's like, man, if you was out here, So, I mean, it's that, but when you start looking into like the whole Ray Ray and Pookie aspect of it, the confidence and, the fact that a lot of these ELs, a lot of the educated brothers, they're making these videos about, oh, I'm about to travel, I'm about to go out to Jamaica, I'm about to go to Dominican Republic and shit like that. So I had an argument with a guy like 4 months ago, and I called him out on it. I'm like, nigga, you're not doing it like that, man. You know what I'm saying? You're not moving like that. I know, I can tell. I can tell you're not moving like that, right? Um, I have actually, you know what I'm saying? Like I have, but it's the way you carry yourself. So when you go to these other places, like, with me, they immediately thought I was like 2 Chains and shit. Like they thought I was some kind of big time rapper, some basketball player. Besides going to the site training, right? So I mean, even that, even going to the site training, you know, they looked at the swag, they looked at just the way I carry myself, and they were like intrigued. So I know another woman. She has a son. Her son loves me to death as well, because we talk a lot through Facebook Messenger. We Skype, and I mean the messages are just miles and miles and miles long, over the years. So with her, she has the same